What's up, world? It's your boy, the Bearded Brother. Back with another episode of the Beerded Tastings. I know I've been away for a minute, but I had to marry the love of my life real quick, so I had a couple things to do. But I'm back, and there's no better way getting back with Harding House, who does locally sourced ingredients for their beer. What other better way than my man Jim from Porter Grocery? He has locally sourced groceries out in East Nashville, but he's sitting right next to me, so I don't need to talk about him. So, how you doing, Jim?
Good, man. Thank you for the introduction.
So, how'd you get into the grocery game, and why?
I was doing the cannabis market, and I've been doing a lot of farmers markets, and I got in with the Tennessee Grocery and Convenience Store Association to kind of, well, I guess it starts with when I started my cannabis business, we went directly into the edibles market. And to be a edible food manufacturer in Tennessee, you've got to be really affiliated with the Department of Agriculture. And through that affiliation, getting my licensing and being Tennessee's first actual licensed producer of cannabis edibles, we got introduced to the Grocery Store and Convenience, or the Grocery and Convenience Store Association.
Okay.
And I started to meet a lot of small business owners through the Grocery and Convenience Store Association that made a lot of products. And I mean, we're talking about the early days of like stuff like the beehives, deli products, Olive and Sinclair. I met those guys through the same association. Quite a few brands that I carry now, I met through that association. And as I did more farmers markets selling my cannabis products, I realized that a lot of these small entry-level food product companies didn't really have a lot of retail opportunity outside of doing farmers markets. And that's a grind. That's a serious grind on these people to, do this work constantly and hit farmers markets 3 times a week. Oh, yeah.
All the time.
And never
places not being super successful.
And then they never have shelf space to boot, to just offload some products and like push people towards, So that was a lot of my base motivation. I met a lot of good people in the Grocery and Convenience Store Association and kind of looked at it as an opportunity to give back a little bit and become a more solidified presence in the areas that I've called part of my home for 20 plus years now. North Nashville, East Nashville, the Nations. And working with local producers that I know are good people, and sharing the wealth a little bit and the space.
Right, got you. So like just coming from like the cannabis world and then going to grocery, that's kind of a crazy border. So you kind of just broke that down, which is my poor segue into drinking our first beer, which is called Without Borders. Yeah, and you kind of have to have that going from cannabis to grocery.
Totally, so you totally have to look at it like a New Mexico kind of thing. It's like there is no border right there. I've been out in the desert right there. There's no border, and if you want to come in, you got to go. And I think that's the way it should be. And I really think that like there's not a lot of difference. And what kind of drifted me in that direction, I was writing a cannabis cookbook. One of the big other motivators, I was writing a cannabis cookbook, and when I had the graphic design done, the person was asking me, well, "What are you thinking?" I was like, imagine this. It's like, imagine it's 1955 and cannabis, marijuana was never made illegal. And this is just an issue of better home cooking. It's like, it would just be another spice that you use. It'd be another thing that brewers use. It would just be another item in our cookbooks. So it's like, imagine all the way like those old magazines where you have fruit and veggies all over the place, just kind of loosely floating, and old ladies cooking stuff, it's like, so that's how we illustrated it, just to kind of reflect that same kind of comfort. Rockwell, there's a bunch of weed over in the corner, like, the same way as there'd be a little flour mill, there's a mill for the buds. So once I started to dawn on me more and more that cannabis was really just another agricultural agricultural products. And when even I disconnected counterculture from it,
Right.
I just realized it's just part of so many people's day. It's just part of people, everybody's day.
Like having coffee in the morning.
So it's like, you can't even get past it. So we really need to take that stigma out of it. And I think part of that is how you approach the marketing of it, So when I made that, because that was my focus, and then I started to see, I love agriculture. I love agricultural products. I love local products, quality products, foods that don't have the ingredients that give us cancer, basically, on purpose.
Right.
So why not create a spot where you can distribute that? And then the icing to it all is, for me, to take the opportunity and go to neighborhoods like the ones I grew up in, and have lived in most of my life.
Right.
I've never lived uptown. I've never lived in a high rise. It's always the cheapest place I can find in any city I've ever lived in. Because those neighborhoods usually have more of a feeling like home for me. Because I grew up in a neighborhood where people know each other. You know the guy who works in the store and all that stuff.
And next door neighbor got a connection to good ass tomatoes.
Well, the downside to it is that the neighborhoods have lost that, and you can't get produce, and you can't get locally made goods because socioeconomic reasons or whatever. But somebody has to go back into it.
Right.
Somebody's got to take the opportunity and go back in, and that's what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build enough space, enough steam to go back into the landscape. But the landscape is changing so quickly that it used to be. Changes pretty quickly.
Very. 1 week is this, and next week it's corporate buildings.
I moved to Nashville in 2004.
Wow.
Yeah. So I lived here way ago, and right after I graduated high school at East Nashville, and to see it's changed so much, it inspired me to create a foothold for myself, because like I've been in and out of this neighborhood, East Nashville, Cleveland Park, Inglewood, 20 years. Nations also, but I've never taken the time to set something up for myself. I never took the time to become a part of the community. Even though the community has changed, it's like I feel like I can still captivate enough of it to not give back to me, and really even give back to the people that are there, but to regulate it some just a little bit, and say like there's not a lot of what used to be here. You can't claim a lot of it anymore, but if I can establish a neighborhood like that, then I can spread anywhere I want to go. And for me, it's not about an idealistic approach. It's about execution. And a neighborhood like that provides a lot of opportunity for test and execution.
Yes.
And grow into anything. If you can survive and thrive in a place like that, then you can build a business that's
sustainable.
Yes.
Bring in income as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
This Without Borders is a honey wheat beer. It's got a little spice to it, a little funk to it, but I like this a lot. I usually like Hart & House's product. They're one of my favorite brews in the city. They use a lot of like local ingredients, or either hyperlocal or local enough where they use ingredients from a state that's bordering Tennessee. So they might get their malt from North Carolina, but they might go down the street to Fairview to go get some sort of fruit or vegetable or anything like that. So like keeping it local. I know with Porter Grocery, that's kind of your focus as well, as close as possible.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, or it's just kind of like this is the best thing I can get my hands on?
I think it started with, like I say, the grocery convenience store association, and how they had their approach to what's called the Big Tennessee products.
Yes.
So you see those around town, Big Tennessee products. And once I saw that list of how many burgers there were in Tennessee, I mean, my mind was blown. There's a lot of repetitive stuff, but once you see how many small businesses there are producing high quality foods, it's like, for me, I just felt called to action. Let's distribute it. And once I put together a store, I realized we don't need 6 of that. So we got to spread it out. So that started to show me that I started looking at all the departments of agriculture across the country and trying to find that same setup, and most of them don't have it. So Tennessee's Department of Agriculture has created something special, and Tennesseans themselves have some sort of ingenuity in their self that has created this, because there's not as many small makers, there's not as much.
Not at all. No, unfortunately, it's so many spaces for that here.
There are, and Tennessee that draws a lot of tourists, and I think it all kind of goes hand in hand with it, like the values of this state, the values of the people that are from here, or that move here to experience those values.
Right.
And I think a lot of that creates an entrepreneur grouping, like willing to try, take chances. Because I mean, who doesn't want to make a small business in Nashville?
Not very small.
And so you see that, and you see all the opportunities, even just the open, you just see all the opportunities for small business. Why not try to capture all that, bottle all that lightning, put it in somewhere that's one of a kind, really.
Oh yeah, so this is why this is such a perfect brewery to do this interview with, because they're one spirit. You met Nate off camera, and he's like one of the leads for the breweries to brew locally. They even had an event, it slips on my mind now, where they got a lot of local breweries to make a beer out of local ingredients, and so they'll bring it to different festivals. They did one in Memphis, Knoxville, they did one here. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Most of them were just wedding planning stuff. And so, yeah. But yeah, it's like, adult life. Adulting. Hashtag. But this is why I was like, it was a perfect kind of conversation. I wanted to be able to meet them and hopefully work with that. It was just like, we were talking about like even potentially having you partner, but come to find out as the truck goes by, you need a certain space to sell beer. Like, how's the working with like barriers to entry creating this? Like, what did you have to go through just to get Porter Road Grocery open?
So it is a if you're educated in government and maximum bureaucracy, then it is. If you're a lawyer or an attorney, someone in that world, where you're used to processing paperwork, it's probably a pretty easy task.
Right.
When you're just a normal person trying to start a business, it is a fairly complicated process from your zoning and building codes to everything like inspections, fire department inspections, and a lot of waiting. It is a ton of waiting. If you want to start a store in Nashville or any city, but especially Nashville, you're gonna be 75 days from the day you sign your lease and start applying for your visa to the day that you come. That's 2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months, and that's like if everything goes well and you don't have a lot of issues or re-inspections or anything. So you automatically kind of start behind the just code codes and building codes. But they make it pretty easy. They have a good computer system that goes through. It's just staff or who knows. They go to the DMV. You think it's going to take 30 minutes? You're there for 2 hours.
Right.
Extrapolate that. Apply that to this. But then on top of that, you got anytime you're getting into the alcohol industry. And I'm learning this with especially the background in cannabis, especially with the background in legacy cannabis, and having dealt with.
What is legacy cannabis?
I think some people refer to it as people who are respected in the industry, people who are well-known in the industry, or as long as their generation can. I'm what is considered fourth generation cannabis, as far as the California scene goes. There's the guys from the 70s, there's the guys from the early 90s that bled in. I learned a lot from people in Canada and Amsterdam. There's the guys from late 90s, early 2000s that took it a little bit more national, where they were bringing hydroponic and good outdoor cannabis to Tennessee. We were smoking swag. We all remember that.
We're smoking dirt.
Yeah, we all remember that time frame around 2002 to 2005 where the PJ, that's because that generation of the people in the cannabis industry were coming up. They're linking up with second generation guys who were mid-30s who just kind of got that indoor growing. They got the process. They took
the process and remixed
the next guys turned it into more of a street commodity, good growth, not cartel market. We're not talking cartel market.
This is like what you find in a dispensary.
Well, this is what you would get like in like 4, 5, 60 bucks a quarter, 120 a quarter, 60 bucks a day. The first white widows, the first time you seen orange hairs and shit like that. And in my generation, the fourth generation, we took it into medicinal. We took it into the recreational. We took it and created actual businesses out of it. We took it and created actual labs out of it. Applied hard science to it to turn it into process instead of it being, I'll make it in my bathtub.
Yeah, it's an actual industry.
So I'm fourth generation, and I claim that even though I've been doing it for years, I was just kind of riding the coattails of the guys who brought me in.
Right.
And when you're in that process of transitioning the industry, a global industry making billions of dollars a year from legacy to legal, a lot of things happen.
Right.
The same within 2 weeks when I was arrested in Nashville with a large felony of cannabis. They decriminalized in 2014. That was overturned by the state. That was overturned by the state because they just weren't going for that. But it was one of those things that reflected, it's like when I went to court for it, they gave me a tremendous quite deal. I used to really got attorney. But time passed, and then that's when I went full into medical and recreational cannabis. Really leaned into that. That's when I started getting that understanding. It's like, oh wait, I know I'm not a medicator. I'm not a medicator. I know that you do.
Right.
I can take simple things that I've learned over the years and create products and create flavored products. Just like we're at with the beer industry, where it used to just be pale ales, and it used to just be weed, but now it's a cart with blueberry flavor and a beer, a pale hibiscus.
You're right.
So these guys are basically probably 4th or 5th generation brewers.
Yeah, definitely.
We're in a world now with the beer that's
you can almost make a beer out of everything if you really try. Yeah, I spoke to someone. They went at the time they made it. They went viral for making an avocado beer. Yeah. He was like, He was like, he made it out. He's based out of San Diego. His name's Dieter. He works over at Happy Harris, and he was like, yeah, it's a dope ass name, right? and he matches his name personality wise. Like whatever you think it is, that's what you're gonna get with him. Very chill dude, long hair, from San Diego area. His parents and family have an avocado farm, and he got into beer. He did that. And apparently, like went dollar at the time. He went to LA. It's like I didn't even. I had to run. So I was like, I want to ask him about the process.
You can't replace the mall. You can't replace the mall.
No. So what he probably did, he either did it in mash or he like did it in fermentation. It's one of the two. I'm not quite sure how he did it, but apparently came out great. Local magazine found it, then LA Times got a hold of it, and then Time Magazine got a hold of it. He was just like, I wasn't even trying to be fan. Yeah, he was just like, yeah, that's it. And it's like, they still make it now out in, Angel City brewery out in San Diego or LA, around there. So I definitely have that written down, so I got to remember to go. But we're now sipping on the hibiscus. This is the one beer, like, I don't leave this brewery without having at least a sampler of this. This is my favorite beer on their list. It's easy, refreshing, and relaxing because, hibiscus, that promotes relaxation. I was like, this is perfect because it's beer and it's hibiscus. So I was like, my perfect remedy. It's my perfect tea. So
I like that. Right now, one of the jobs I do is I create cannabis cocktails for a company there, and I develop their mocktails.
Okay. Who do you? Don't mind a shameless plug. It's all good for shameless plugs, man.
I guess everything you drink as far as your cannabis mocktails at Buzz and Brews in Germantown, the new cannabis theme restaurant.
Oh, you did the mocktails?
Oh,
shit. I would have known that. I would have got all of my. Oh, man. Me and the wife went there a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. I liked it a lot.
I try not to tell people because I like to catch what people think about those. Hey, what you think about those? And then get people's responsibility. Yeah, I made those. And so far, I've only had my friends complain.
Really?
But I like that sense.
No, I'm very much. I'll be honest with you. Like, I feel like we're cool enough. So I was like, you could have told me that, really.
Your job is, this is your gig. But I like to catch people off guard. I really like to play it underhand because there's so much more, and there's so much more to do.
Right.
I can start dropping hashtags or tagging myself or, creating that buzz. But, I think it's really about the product just speaking for itself and the numbers doing what they do.
Right. So when you do talk about it, like, well, motherfucker, these make $5,000 a month for this place. I'm just throwing a number out there. I'm sure the number is completely wrong. Like, whatever it is.
No, that's just part of where the cannabis thing is taking me. And I talk to my other legacy friends and the people out west, and they saw this thing. They saw a lot of the videos that went viral about the brews, and they saw me in the background. And they're like,
"What are you doing?" Yeah, I've been seeing them all over the place. I didn't realize this one. A guy got his glass filled, and he did like a viral video. I didn't realize it was Buzz and Brews till like I researched. I was like, this is in Nashville. What place is this? I didn't. Yes, 30 Mile Road. Check it out. But I didn't make the connection, even though I seen the billboard there. I was like, what the fuck is this place in Nashville? Not thinking it's Buzz and Brews. I thought it was somewhere else. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because you just need a place like that being successful. Because like, I think you just need that. You just need that one shot to go in the basket. That's all you need sometimes. It switched. It went straight through. It didn't even touch the net. Like, it just went straight through Steph Curry style, man.
I'm really proud of the guys that I worked for that created that idea. And one of the things that I liked about him was I'd say within the first 6 months of us hanging out, that was one of the things you told me he was going to do. It's like frame it all around the sauces and the drinks. Frame it all around the sauces and the drinks. This was 3.5 years ago. Early 2019. And
I was lit after her.
And
Like deceptively so.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's gonna be just a little bit, make you feel good. And I was like, I need to sit down. We need to get home now, babe.
When you go there, ask questions. Ask questions. Get an understanding of everything you're going to be consuming, and that I'm big on education. Education, understanding all these things, understanding what you're putting in. That's why I've been successful in creating so many products for so many cannabis companies, because I take the focus on formulation and efficacy very serious. It's a very serious topic for me. I learned in the early days of medical, I was looking for, not the early days, but before recreational was ever a thing anywhere in the country. I was looking at going to college out in Colorado. I would go and get my medical zucchini loaf from this place called Pure, and they were rated like the best cannabis bakery type edibles at the time. But like you would eat that shit, like you would eat a slice, and you would do anything, and then it hit you. But it'd be slow key, so you didn't really know, and then
Right. It is too late. You can't turn back.
And for me, I didn't realize that that much cannabis.
That's the life of edibles. Like, I have so many friends that I had so many people hurt their own feelings. Even myself, like, oh, I can't handle this. Ain't shit. I don't feel this. Hour later. I can't feel my feet. I can't feel my feet. I can't feel my face. My lips hurt.
No, and that's what pushed me later down the road when I finally got a chance to take the cannabis lab side more serious. Was like, once I figured out some of the extraction principles, I immediately started creating edibles with the idea that you can make it more dosable. Instead of saying, this brownie's got 5 milligrams in it, only eat 2 bites of it. It's like, I'm a stomach, I'm fat one of that. Like, I eat 2 bites of a brownie.
Right. And I got a sweet tooth. So like, candies are always really up in the air. If it's like done really well, I don't really taste the weed. That's the part where I get in real danger with myself.
I'm like, and this is another context. I prefer a spirit for it. I prefer when I taste the cannabis. I like when I can. I don't like the deceptive.
If it's good cannabis, yes. I've had cannabis that tastes like dirt, and it's like,
they just didn't apply enough chemistry to it. That's all. It wasn't distilled right. It's like a bad beer.
Yeah.
The process is
you get diacetyl in it. You get
whatever mistakes.
You get bad sour apple taste when you're not supposed to, things like that. So that makes sense when you apply it to that. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, that's probably something I can rock with. If it's like, okay, like I can.
Well, if you're not hitting your temps, you're not keeping your temps at the right time.
Or you move too fast, you move.
You're not making a product. You're not making the same product that you made last time. And that's what's so interesting. And that's one of the things one of my biggest, I wouldn't say mentor here or nothing, but one of the biggest proponents for that efficacy is Murphy out in Colorado, and she's definitely like third, fourth generation. She kind of crosses that barrier. She kind of crosses that barrier because she's so like first generation. Like first generation.
It's like there's just some people that got that like thing that didn't say qual about the
to have that. Part of the reason brewing beer was actually a home thing for me. I didn't really get into until I got into cannabis lab space. I never took sanitizing serious enough, and I would end up with wild yeast in my beer and
wild ferment somewhere.
End up with female or the taste was always off, And I knew after I really put some time into the thought, it's like, it's because it's not clean. It's because there was something left in it.
Yeah.
I didn't keep the tank clean, and it wasn't clean.
That yeast will kill you if you're not paying attention to it, because it's just like so deceptively just like slick sometimes. I don't want to say slick, but that's the best term I can think of. Like it can get into crevices you don't think it can get into, and then you pour something on there, and it's like boom. You might have like a certain yeast that has like some spices, and you try to put a fruitier. You might put an L yeast over the lager, and you're like just enough. You're like, why does this taste this way? Yeah, and it's just like just not a super clean. And like speaking of science, like yeah, that's how I got into craft beer. Like understand the science. I was like, why is this a stout? But you just put in this tank a few weeks ago a whole pilsner. How'd you do that? Why'd you do that? How did it get here? And just learning about that, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like the malt profile, grain profile, how long things sit, and how quickly you need to move things in and out, and hop profile. Like, there's just so much that can dictate things, like, and it's just so like crazy like that. So, but like with like cannabis, you mentioned really interesting thing for like for me that kind of stuck with me was like asking questions for a person that's kind of against it or don't really understand cannabis. Like how important is it for them to ask questions and moving Tennessee towards legality? Like what kind of questions do we need to be asking these lawmakers or even people like yourself, like, I want to get involved, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, how to move, what to look for. Yeah, like what are some tips for people to kind of like help push that agenda forward? Because I'm very forward to it, but I don't even know who the persons are. Yeah, I don't know even what to do. I can't basically say legalize weed. Yeah, right.
Ally that the people of Tennessee as far as within the state government is a lobbying group called the Tennessee Growers Lobby, and they have an agenda, obviously, which is regulate the cannabis industry in Tennessee. That includes both medical and recreational. So they're open to all aspects of it, and that's kind of what makes them really only operate in that field. And they're actually having a fundraiser in Chattanooga it's called Free Plant. And
oh wow,
Kelly puts it together with Joe Kirkpatrick, and he actually ran for state senate this past. Joe Kirkpatrick is kind of
I think so, yeah.
Constitutional Republican, I'm not sure what that means. I mean, part of his message is definitely for medical organization purposes and pretty sure the Tennessee Growers Coalition is the best place to kind of spend some money and throw money toward a nonprofit lobby group that is focused on the cannabis stuff. It's not just about making it legal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Protecting the laws that we have, because they do come under attack every year. So there's people out there running the halls.
They even try to make it more convoluted. They're like they legalize like Delta 8, but like you can get Delta 10 and 9, but like you can't get like they're just trying to confuse people rather than
Person got a hold of it and didn't know, and it's like there's no actually recorded. These things aren't really actually recorded when they do just 1 in 10,000, and it's like
or someone is like, okay, you're just being it's like you're across the street like, oh, you gotta legalize cars. Like,
I think most Tennesseans and Southerners will agree with a certain level of personal responsibility when it comes to what you consume and what you do with yourself.
Right.
Right.
Especially in an area that's like known for fried food. You can't be like, oh my god, I'm fat.
I drink 12 pints of beer.
Who did this to me? Right. Okay. Who did this to me? You did.
You gotta legalize food and beer now.
We gotta legalize food and beer now. It's like, no, you just gotta stop drinking 97 beers in one sitting.
Every other day.
Every other day.
Like back in the early 2000s. The Blasio.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I think it's the Blasio at that time. Yeah. Giuliano's between de Blasio and Cuomo. I think he's in between them.
But you gotta have that traditional approach. You gotta have that. So I think every and there's gotta be room for the traditional members of the consumer market, and even just like going back to the grocery store.
Right.
There's certain things that like we have to go non-traditional on.
Do you want a dog?
Right.
Some levels go some rooms go to some stores go to so we're something
Yeah.
we're something
Clean IPA. Yeah, there's like a lot of or just like someone that just wants something clean. Like no one wants like a banana split sour all the time. Sometimes I just want the regular sour. I'm not a huge sour fan, but I'm a stout guy, so I just want a good stout. Maybe throw some vanilla in there just to be fun with it. But like sometimes I'm like don't make a strawberry shortcake brownie stout. Like, just that's fun. That's fun for sure. Like I'll have it. That's just fun to share with somebody. Like oh, I'm trying to this is dope. But sometimes I'm just like, man, I just want something clean, easy to drink.
It's easy to consume.
I'm trying to go somewhere else.
There's that level of that personal responsibility. But we all have to, and I think it's important. And I think this is someone was thinking about earlier. It's like more business owners become responsible in this way. Like you don't have to create non-profit, anything like that. But I feel like for every successful business owner, should create or at least one business with a sole focus on doing something better for the community. It's like, yeah, you can sell junk food, you can sell
Yes.
you can sell weed and like make you basically every time you get it. I can sell cheap macaroni and cheese way easier than I can sell organic pasta and fine cheddar, but you have to do something that creates a space for the betterment of society.
Really, you just think getting rid of my super hot take.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship needs to go away, and social entrepreneurship needs to be the new leader. That's why I'm screwing. It's just they want to make my coins now. Like I'm all about getting the bag. Like I'm not anti that, but like I know my bag is gonna go craft beer a genuine way rather than a brewery throw in a blackface or a rap lyric or something. Here, black folks, enjoy. This is what you wanted for. It's like, no, fools. Just like, no, no, not at all. Because like I walk in here and no one else like here. Like we're sitting here. No offense to other house, like it's just us. So it's just like being able to bring people in a genuine way through that conversation, that educational piece. Like, hey, you like Henny? Right? They got what's the deal? Hey, barrel aged beer at this brewery. Let's go try some of those. And you're like, oh shit, they can do this for beer? Oh fuck yeah. Or I like really fruity drinks. I like my Cosmo. I like my mango margaritas. Cool. They got a mango beer they just came out. Or they got a fruit beer. Speaking of like jackalope, if you like strawberries and raspberries, check out the Lovebird next season and things like that. So it's like it's super refreshing. It's like it's easy to drink. You didn't realize you drink this. You're like, oh, this is what this is. Or hibiscus. It's like, oh yeah, like
and that same thing is like when I talk about portionation. And it's really not until that fourth generation that you start to see a lot of diversity. And that's because you had guys who just said, I'm going to claim a space, but it's still needs diversity. No different than this industry right here. I mean, but you can look at on restaurants.
Sure.
But you can look at, I mean, like restaurants. I feel like we're, I feel like in the internet generation, everything, and you're just now starting to see a turn. We're just now starting to see a turn, but you gotta protect yourselves, man, because I've definitely tried to be brought in on products and gigs. Oh shit, man, and like, you know,
You used that token. You put you relevantly walking.
Because I know that myself.
I need to do that. I need to. I was like, I'm dark than you, so that's gonna be even bigger reaction.
And it's like I told him, but like, you know, they want you to, when you're biracial, especially, they want you to be biracial because they don't want you to that, because they don't want you to lose whiteness. And whether they black or when they white or brown. You know, no offense, you know, but that's just something. It is what it is.
That's just what it is. It's what society and culture has created.
Tell us what it is to me. I'm like a white person.
It's like, let's talk about this interaction right now.
Local schizophrenia.
We'll be back on channel 2. Shit, he's figured it out. He's figured it out. I always hate like that kind of interaction. Is just like this interaction is like how I feel like you ostracizing, but also I don't disclaim or deny me being black. It's very obvious. But it's just like, yo, just give me the opportunities, give me the tools y'all were literally handed. I gotta work for the tools y'all hand. Y'all can, like even here, like coming here, it's like I feel like I gotta have, not here parties, but like just in the industry. It's like I feel like I gotta come with a certain set of credentials. While Chad, Man Bun and Beard, says, I like IPAs. Oh great, here's an apprenticeship. Like, or like they get more involved easier. So
when people send that message of representation, it's not about visual representation. It's about having someone inside that's literally hire you when you and another person have the same skill set because you are you. And that may seem
exactly.
It is that a lot of people get their jobs because they look like their jobs. And they'll get their job because they look like or slightly more skilled than them. And have a slightly part of what you look like is this color of your skin, you know, and the way you have your hair. And then what you do is even what you sound like.
Even what you sound like. You sound non-threatening. They're like, oh yeah.
I had a friend of mine the other day taking me out, and he's like, hey, you want to go shoot guns? I'm like, oh, no. He's like, oh no, we're going to go shoot. He's like, oh no, play pigeons at like a private club. Play pigeons. Okay, like, you know, I'm down. Like, if we did it, it was still one night. I'm down.
I don't know. I'm not good with my gun stuff. I'm talking out my ass now.
It's more of a classy, like, simple shotgun, like your hunting birds, like with like the president or with Dick Cheney. You know, I might get shot in the face.
Right.
Wear your vest.
Wear your vest.
You know, there's that small cultural and while there's that small type of guy that wants to take your employees out and do what they can do, things that you do, you know, Or when you do hire somebody from outside of your community, it's kind of like kind of a goof. Like, imagine what it was like for like the sound engineer in Rockefeller Studio. Like when he would go to the club, like he stood out, like, and everyone's kind of laughing at him and stuff like that. So it's and it works. If you're like in an office job, and you go skiing, and everyone's like, but the Negroes, they're amazed by it. But the Negroes skiing, it's like. It's like, that's God given right there. Right. You see that? He didn't have to start training when he was 5.
Right.
I put the metal on the mountain right now, and here he goes. I put the metal on the mountain right now, and here we go. All of us are naturally, you know what I mean? It's like, now speed, of course now.
Right.
It just comes naturally because speed and strength, it just comes naturally because, we're getting it, it's been downplayed so much. Their activities and our activities. And when you try to blend all these industries, Gen Z is crushing it, which I think is Gen Z is crushing it.
Oh, most definitely.
But those kids will never really fully understand. Those kids will never by the time we're like 50, they'll just be fully. By the time we're like 50,
completely different landscape.
Businesses and creating that representation where, yes, some people are going to get those jobs just because they remind me of just because they know about just because they hold money. Just because they were in a certain fraternity, just because that's what fraternity it is.
Yeah.
Just because, that's crazy.
I love it. It's definitely like a sprinkle of love.
I know, I love it. It's definitely like a sprinkle of love. But also, it's like, okay, yeah, we might be in the same fraternity, but what else do you offer? I like that line. Okay, like you halfway in the door, but like, okay, I need the other.
The thing,
rather than like, actually.
The thing,
rather than like,
you're
a fucking bum. Like the whole time, not like you specifically, but like
proliferating, separate out, and like you got so many different cultures in America. I remember we went up to the inauguration. It was a trip. These people out there crying,
right. Yeah. I remember I was a junior in high school. So I remember like walking in, like, man, like almost like a sense of relief.
But now it's like,
thank God.
But now it's like, we think it's like, we're like, oh, the first black president. We think it's people from India. Like, when's the first Indian? People from China are like, when's the first Chinese? You know what I mean? Like, when's the first Chinese American, Indian American? When's the first Chinese American, German American? Or, something like that. Like, when's the first, like, Zimbabwean American, like, legit, like straight out of Africa, like one generation out of Mexico, straight out of Africa. When is that going to be the first president?
Right.
When is that these competing roles for every individual race in all of these individuals? From the president down to the barista, or not the barista, like from the high to the barista. It's a very important coffee. I get it. Yeah.
Someone like the president versus
I get what you're saying. It's just like someone like the president versus like
proliferation. And I think once we get past that, then we'll start getting to who's the best.
often need those opportunities.
You gotta create those opportunities first.
You need those opportunities.
Great.
That's very true. Very true. You gotta create those opportunities. Just like, even like as I finish up this Prosper, which is a fest beer, so gonna be a little spice to it. Speaking of fest beer, like I went to a festival last year called Barrel and Flow. It's a black-owned beer festival in Pittsburgh, and it's super dope. It's just a bunch of black people together drinking beer, the same level as you see people around in this brewery chatting, stock of beer. And it's just really interesting to see that. It's like, I think that's really actually really important for people of color to have spaces. Like we need that. And in the cannabis industry, do you see spaces like that, or is it just kind of like is it still more individualistic? Like that's a black-owned dispensary, but they don't really do much else other than being black-owned. If that makes sense.
So I'm a member, a very inactive member, and I apologize. I'm a member, a very inactive people that are growing on this board. Very to Normal's diversity initiative, and Normal is a large national nonprofit that focuses on the legalization of cannabis. So I was thankful to be brought onto the board, and I was thankful to see like how diversity and representation within the industry has grown. Is to really say that like it hasn't changed much the past 10 years. Yes, there are more, not a lot more black figureheads in cannabis, but not really in growing. Not really in processing. Front of house, retail.
They're front of house, basically. Yep. That's exactly how beer is for the most part is.
Literally triple OG, and you can follow her at the Dane Duchess on Instagram. It'll be the best account you follow as far as like cannabis, hash, and all that kind of stuff goes. She sends a very positive, beautiful, uplifting message. But there is the aspect of what her message is that is directly related to cannabis, so it makes it relatable content. Right. It's not a
right.
Not to water her down at all, but it's not a black-centric message or anything like that. It's kind of like that approach that I take, where it's just we just do what we do. You know, we don't focus on creating that focus. You know, and you have to. I think for me, why that's important that we think that way is to not take up space for people who are looking for that focus, for one, but also to create something that allows me to stand flat on and build the things that I want. It's like people really say, two for the studio, one for yourself. You know,
right.
You do the projects that you have to do to generate the wealth that you need to do the projects you want.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's either that or borrow $10 million.
Right, exactly.
It's either that or borrow, $10 million from somebody. I think this is
exactly.
Kitchen hands.
Yeah, kitchen hands.
So that's this is kitchen hands. So
it's a cucumber beer, very refreshing.
It's a cucumber beer, which is very refreshing. Really easy to drink.
Yeah, just kind of talking about that. I think this space is for that. I'm very
just kind of talking about that. Like, I think this space is for that. I'm very much on the side of like, I'm gonna let you know my whole black craft beer influencer. My goal is to bring black people into this space and really hold their feet to the fire. Especially when like the Black is Beautiful campaign came out. I loved it. Now we're getting to the point of like, okay, and you know how black people say, and it's like, oh, you made a beer, and what's up? Like now I'm on that. I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to look. Not even that. Like you don't even have to make a beer. What are you doing now? Are you actively trying to go around these black spaces and put your beer in black businesses? Are you trying to go to Porter Road Grocery? Are you trying to go to Slim Nuts? Are you trying to go to Whitney B's? Are you trying to go to it just slipped my mind. It's in Germantown, little convenience store over there. It's gonna come. Like, are you going to these spaces to try to sell as hard as you are going to Whole Foods? Going to
are you selling as hard?
Predominantly white homes businesses. Are you selling as hard?
I think that's the big thing is
I think that's the big thing is are you speaking out against injustices you see in the black community? Now it's action. How are you continuing continue on. I'm like looking and seeing, and that's where I'm stepping in as the bearded brother. I'm like, okay, like y'all made this beer, now let's take it up another level.
Don't run from this.
Like you can't be scared to do it. Like
Don't run from this.
yeah, I was like I can't. I literally am not allowed to biologically, physically. I'm in the middle of this. I am black. I'm always gonna be black. I was like, okay, you can't just jump in, get your money, grab it, go. I'm gonna talk to you about it. You're gonna see.
You don't remember when I went out. The next time you see it, then it's like I'm starting to think that you never saw me. Next time you saw me, then it's and like I can only take me and play so much.
Exactly.
I can only take me and play so much. Like that was the difference. God rest his soul, in that George Floyd era, and before that a little bit, definitely looking for to like represent for them in that sector, and I got a lot of hate from some people because I went to like a conference and I basically said in front of my 200 business owners, I was like, the important thing to remember is to, if you're gonna claim black-owned business, make sure it's not just a black-based business, and it upset a lot of people, and I was just like,
that's real. That is so real, though.
We did it. Oh, we made it.
We did it.
Because I didn't think I
No, don't.
They were like, oh, we're gonna make you president of this, of our country. And I'm like, yeah, but in a corporate scheme, I'm president of this shit. Like, there's like 50, in any major corporation, there's like 50 presidents. Are you gonna give me a board? That's where it matters. I'm not on the board, I don't do that. Yeah, don't.
Right. Don't make me president of diversity. Like you can, but this is what I'm expecting.
And make me a board member. You know what I mean? Like, let me show you, what I can do. Like, when you want to go with that president stuff, it's just like I learned that that's such a temporary gig that like unless there's a steady, heavy contract involved in it, they're just setting you up. I've never made a budget cut or that's all the president. Cut you
Or some PR savior type. Yeah.
Vice president and president just to do it. Yeah.
We did this for you. You should be happy. It's like, no. But all your other presidents have this kind of power. I just got the title.
In the C-suite, you really have you're not making any decisions. Everything you do is running at the pole. Yeah, so anything you say that might upset you,
You're just there.
Yeah, so anything you say that might upset you, be voted at you, and then they have to make an actual effort to do it. It's like, okay, now, we're voting out 6 months after we have to do it. It's like that. We're voting out 6 months after we have to do it. Yeah, it's exactly. So I learned
They got what they needed.
Yeah, it's exactly. When you think about like the celebrations of cannabis within this community, like it's so deep and it's so nuanced because we're the reason it's so in the end, like we didn't do that, but we're the reason they made it illegal. Us and we're the reason they call it marijuana. We're the reason that they created all this idealism. You know what I mean? That's all for us. That's all.
3-strike rule, all that stuff.
And then after the Vietnam War, they paired black culture and hippie culture together through cannabis. And then it became about hippies and
Yes.
and then that culture took it over, started growing it, and created first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation within that industry. That's why it didn't start until late 60s, 70s. Because before that it was just very
Right.
Before that it was just imported from Mexico. But imported from Mexico. So it's hard to get to that point in the industry where people are fully utilized representing the concept of what they should be expecting. You know, it's like representing the concept of what they should be expecting. Heavy price. Still paying heavy price for this industry.
Still paying
heavy price for this industry. The entry is just not there because why? We didn't go to the. A lot of people didn't go to the colleges that produce people that start venture capitalist firms that have enough money to say, oh, look, this $50 million worth of money, and then we'll hire board, president, vice president, and top 3 operations managers, all from our graduate operations managers. So, of course, the opportunities unless you can get a little store, because operations are crazy expensive,
Right.
Oh yeah, all the overhead and stuff.
And if you don't have access
like all that overhead and stuff.
Realistically, like, if you don't have most black-owned, black-backed venture capitalist groups that I've interacted with are focused on more sure bets, real estate and things like that they know will build them up because they know will build them up because they can't take that. They can't lose 50 mil. You know what I mean?
Not at all. No.
Like they don't have the type of people giving them money that they can lose as a tax write-off. And some of them do, but that's just not what they're doing. They're trying to, because they still have to prove themselves. Even though they're in charge of a VC firm that's worth $100 million or managing $2 billion, they still got to prove themselves because they still, like they know that, yeah, you're up here, but you're still relatively new to the game,
right?
And you gotta earn your seat.
You gotta earn your keep, and
And I've seen people burn in the industry. I've seen people burn through, at this point, hundreds of millions of dollars, and just move from company to company, move from company to company or industry to industry. Like I've known guys. I knew a guy. I worked with a guy in California, and he came from Facebook. And he was like number 15 at Facebook, you know what I mean? Like met with Zuckerberg on a regular basis kind of deal. And him and I got together through just networking and applying myself basically. And he burned through $28 million in 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah. And in the end, $28 million in 5 years. So, and then his company is worthless. Sold it for the amount of money he owed, which is not good, like at all.
Not at all. You broke even. Yeah,
you broke even. After all this time, you break even. Like, your investors are not happy. Like, so, looking at stuff like that, and those guys they go back to tech. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's just like whatever.
Yeah, just whatever. Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, like legacy guys like me. And then especially other legacy guys, from any minority group that made it out clean, no charges. Like, I didn't even make it out clean. I had to spend a ton of money to even get to the point where I could own a business in the industry. Like, a lot of money. But people that did make it out clean still face that whole uphill battle. And then on top of it, they know, like, their own pins and needles because no one's got time for
one minor slip. Yeah, it's like one minor slip up. You say that you tweet the wrong thing that could send your whole business into chaos.
Well, and you can get an angry, hashtag on you real quick. You can be the angry, black guy real quick.
Yes.
You can be the angry minority real quick.
Very easily.
And you can be the replaced minority. And now the whole industry is it's corporate now. If you get a job making $20 an hour, you're lucky, So it ain't what it used to be at all. So.
No, not at all, man. Yeah,
that's part of the reason I just was like, I'm gonna try and do this grocery thing.
Yeah,
because cannabis has just turned into a day job for most people that do.
Yeah, it kind of just taints the industry for you a little bit.
I mean, I remember when I was 15, and like, I want to be fuck it, I'm gonna do this. Like, I knew back then, I was like, this is going to be medical. I wrote my junior year your English class your junior year and your senior year, you've got to write like your essay, the big essay or whatever every year, and it's like end of the year, turn it, you start on it. With the school I went to, you start on it and you pick your topic in December and you have to present it in April. But it's got to be like it's like
Gotta be pristine.
50% of your grade for the semester. I did medical marijuana 2 years in a row. I was 16 and 17 years old, and this was like so early back when it was just the emperor wears no clothes. Jack Herrera, Ed Rosenthal, people like that, and you have so very little information about it, but I pulled a lot of good info out of the resources that I had, heroin and things like that, about what legalization could someday look like. And I remember I spent about 10 minutes talking about the corporatization of recreational use marijuana, which at the time was just called adult consumption. So my junior year class in 2003, I was explaining to a bunch of very uninterested 16-year-olds how someday growing marijuana was going to be just like working at a factory. And it hasn't been 20 years.
And it's like spot on.
Spot on, 100%. And
somebody in your class sees it like, that son of a bitch was right.
I didn't make a lot of friends in high school.
Or somebody that knew you was like, that motherfucker was right. Damn.
No, listen, I've seen plenty of people after high school and they're like, you did exactly what the fuck you said you were going to do, dude. Like, you always said you were going to go be, like, make it big in the cannabis industry, and you fucking did. It's like, I did all right, I'm
doing one or two things.
Yeah. I'm staying busy.
Right, not too shabby. Yeah. But you brought up your, like, grocery, and before we wrap up with our last two beers, I just kind of want to talk about that, being a black-owned grocery and being locally sourced. That's huge, especially in Nashville. We don't see that, and I thought it was always interesting you picked East Nashville for that space. Like, is that just because that's where you grew up, or like what was your hopeful impact being there versus going to like North Nashville or Antioch?
Right. My big thing is real estate for one, and East Nashville is always growing, but on the decline in popularity. So I knew real estate was going to be slightly more attainable. Like, you can make new projects and things like that. But North Nashville, dude, the square footage is insane because you got a lot of what probably would have been considered legacy from building owners that sold out in the past 5-10 years, and a new round of people taking over, and
they realize what they got.
Yeah, and they know that, like, hey, if you want to rent it, man, like, organic cookie shop will move in here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sell $20 a piece cookies to the people that are moving in this high rise over here that ain't from this neighborhood and ain't from this state. And I felt like it just had to be about timing. I moved to Nashville in 2004. I moved to East Nashville. I went to Nashville Auto Diesel College, which is now Lincoln Tech right there on Gallatin Avenue. And I wanted to be I wanted to build a part of the East Nashville neighborhood, even though it's changed so much.
Oh, yeah. I remember I moved in 2010. Yeah. People talk about you like you didn't really go to East Nashville back then.
No, you went to, back then, especially before.
You knew somebody, or?
Yeah, you went there, a couple bars to do whatever you were doing specifically.
Yeah, you went over there because you knew somebody.
Cruising around. I'm going to walk around, maybe buy some food. And it's not that I like griminess, because that's what I hate about it. It's like, there was nobody developing businesses, nobody building stuff, no one creating jobs in those communities at that time, because they didn't want to invest in the people. But now you look around, but there is that sympathetic plea like that. But on the other side of it is like, there's so many small businesses in East Nashville. Like,
they really are.
And I can't say that I'm not privileged in the sense that, like, I have been able to take my personality and my network and turn it into capital for myself to do things like start a grocery store. Not everybody's going to have that opportunity. I took those chances because I am who I am, not because of anything else about me. I was accepted because I am who I am, not because of anything else about me. But for the people that didn't have those chances and those opportunities, I feel like doing things in a place like East Nashville, even as a start to the overall scope of, being in more food desert type communities, is to say that, like, you may have taken every square footage of this neighborhood from the people that were here, but for the people that bared witness to the people that were here, the people that cared about those people, the people that liked the aesthetic of that neighborhood, despite its poverty and all these things, and that can be blamed on whatever processes, there will still be people that keep that representation alive. And there will still be people that, like, I don't care if I make someone uncomfortable with what I say. I'm not going to agree with shit just to agree with stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not going to agree with everybody's politics. No way. Especially if we're not rocking on the same, like, especially if we're not going to the same kind of church, or you don't go to your grandma. Like, there's so many things that make our community. And not to say that I can't cross over to other communities, but, like, in a place
it's just
like
something
that,
special.
I'm going to represent my community. And
There's something special about your community.
Yes. And there's parts of East Nashville that are gone forever, 100% gone forever. And, for me, long term, that's going to be a place that helped get something started that is going to represent the cultural aspects of the new East Nashville in the form of, organic food representation and clean food and clean consumption and local foods and things like that, but spread them to the areas that were basically deprived of that.
Right.
And once you're deprived of something, it's like the broken windows theory and all that stuff. Once you're deprived of a certain level of comfort, you're going to slowly convince yourself that you don't deserve that level of comfort. So to recreate that in the communities I actually want to, the ones that aren't privileged enough to just have it growing up every day, is going to take being in those communities too,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And letting those people carry some of the growth pattern. It's like, that's what you're here for. Like, that's what you represent. Like, to me, is an opportunity. It's like, I know what you like. Now let's make it something, because we both know why you like it, because it's good. Not just because it tastes good, because it's clean. And because you know that the shit they sell at the corner store is going to give you fucking cancer. And it's going to give you high blood pressure and all this stuff. Like, so let's do this together. Even though this is the new East Nashville community, let's do this in a way that's helping me grow to help other communities grow into this.
Right.
I grew up in a neighborhood where we had one corner store, and it was black owned. And the legend of this guy was he robbed the bank, he buried the money, he did 10 years for the bank robbery, got out, dug up the money, and started a corner store in his neighborhood and, like, ran numbers and stuff like that out of it. Cool triple OG shit, but, like, he never, like, and this is where I went to every day after elementary school to get the jungle juices and stuff. Like, and I always
the barrel juices.
Oh yeah, always with the giraffe on it and stuff.
Hell yeah!
I always think about him. I think about him every day when I open up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I don't have that same neighborhood like that dude has, but I can have that someday, and I can have that in a way that's, like, big enough to where it's not necessarily about profit. It's about opportunity for the people in the community. Right. But it starts slow. It's a slow kickoff.
It's a slow burn. Definitely a slow grind for sure.
I looked at this when I got into it as a 10-year project. Not all good money is good money, so you can't just take any investment thrown at you. It's all got to be done. For me,
it's got to be done correctly, and it's got to be done well.
Yeah, because
that's the most important. Not even just correctly. It's got to be done well.
It's got to be done well. I've done the two for them.
Yeah.
This is the one for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do the alcohol, I'll do the cannabis stuff because I know that your choices for what you consume are your choices, and that's the way I'm always going to look at it.
Right.
But you need opportunity. So I'll do the cannabis, the alcohol stuff, and create money. But opportunity, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Not about money. I want to do it to create opportunity. You know?
Yeah, and we definitely like need spaces like that. Like even just like Porter Road just like gives us our spaces because we don't have something like what you offer.
No.
At all. Like in the city that when I walk into your shop, I haven't in a minute, but it's just like I felt immediately comfortable.
Yeah.
I felt at home. I felt like you said with old boy at your corner store. You're like you walking. That's just the crib for you. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in a neighborhood like that. Like I had a candy lady around the corner. You just walk up in her house. She had the candy before it was even released.
Right.
You're like.
And that's something I love doing because like when people walk in the store, you know, it's not a big store, right? So it's a personal space.
Very.
And I give them 30 seconds or so, then I immediately engage them. And I immediately talk to them. I find out if they live in the neighborhood, where they're from, what they like, if they're vegan, if they eat certain types of meat. Like I ask these people all these questions to engage with them, to practice this, and to create a script of a sort to train other people and say, like, we need to get to know these people because this is what I grew up. I grew up walking to the store. The guy knows you, you know, and you don't. I've been in every white neighborhood. You know, I feel like I've been in every white neighborhood in America.
Right.
And they ain't got that. Like the butcher in like a big city. Or like the maybe the guy at the gas station
might have a bodega here and there.
And that was the whole thing. It was a bodega and a farmer's market mixed together. And to bring that to every other neighborhood is the eventual goal. You know what I mean? Because they don't do a farmer's market in every neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Really don't.
They really don't. They really don't offer CSAs in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like.
For people that don't know, what is a CSA?
So a CSA is like if you want to get organic groceries or clean groceries directly from a farm, you can sign up for their CSA program. I don't know the exact definition of CSA, but you can sign up for their CSA and you'll get a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly delivery of whatever they produce. Yeah,
gotcha.
And it's in a box. You'll just if it's this time of the year,
you'll get whatever's in season.
Whatever's in season, yeah.
So, that's dope.
So
okay,
that's something that we're dialing in because that community is more educated on these aspects. And for me to dial my business in, I've got to have educated consumers that are understanding of all these things. You know,
right.
It's like understanding of the deep complexities of the different types of farm raised and pasture raised and all this stuff. And understanding of like why organic spinach is a little bit more and why it's worth it and all this stuff to create my framework to then go and say, hey, you set up a store and let's do this, you know. But I've got to have it all dialed in, you know.
Right.
And this is, like I said, this is just a project for me and I didn't want to wait another day to start it. And so I just jumped right in and everything else is just going to come together.
Fall into place. Oh yeah, for sure.
Right now,
sometimes you got to do that. Like you just got to go in. You just got to do it, and you figure it out as you're going.
Lay the bricks as you walk, man. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. Like if you're trying to, if you go and you borrow $10 million from somebody and you're laying the bricks as you walk, you're an asshole. But if you're doing it with your own money and you're trying your own processes and it's working in ways and you're dialing in how it works as it goes. Man, that's just business. That's just being an entrepreneur. That's bootstrapping. Yeah, that's
how it's supposed to be. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother episode. I don't have the capacity for right now. But yeah, definitely. Jim, how can they follow you on social media and keep up with the store and they can check out? Because this dude has pheasant in his grocery store.
So
I don't know many Krogers or Whole Foods that have pheasant. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to amp them up or anything. I'm just giving you facts, baby.
yeah. Well, I mean, we got pheasant and rabbit and octopus and imported sardines and just all kinds of stuff. And like that's something.
Name a Whole Foods that got that.
I mean, name a store. Yeah.
We'll wait. Hit the comments.
And I think that's like important a little bit is that, like I say, representation in like the craft specialty foods, but understanding that like people need like whole foods and all that. But the easiest way to kind of follow us and see our progress is on Instagram at Porter Road Grocery. We'll be offering a grab and go menu soon, so you'll be able to pick up different soups, vegan foods.
Oh yes, let's go.
We got a couple of local chefs that are kind of tapping in and helping us build out our menu to be able to provide those type of food plates for as affordable as possible, but at high of a quality as possible. Like, so we, I mean, it's a grind out here, man. Like, making a good, clean plate of food is hard, especially if you work 8-9 hour day, take a 45-minute commute both ways. It's hard to get your food ready. It's hard to prep up, man. And like, we want to use what we have, the resources we have, the people we have, to fill all those gaps, man. And like, it's a part of how we're exploring our business model and developing what we can really offer to the community. Because like, as we scale up and we move into a bigger space, we want to say like, yo, anyone over here that wants us to make your food for you, your lunch for you for weekly, come pick it up. You want a CSA? You can come pick it up. You want, we'll have beer and stuff, but like, it's more focused on like that, like I said, offering that good, clean, lifestyle.
Healthy eating.
Yeah. And then like, when it comes to beer, it ain't going to be your everyday stuff. It's going to be stuff like this, like stuff that people that clearly and purposely pay attention to what they're doing.
Yes.
To make a difference in the industry they're in, which is like the best thing you can be. Like,
exactly.
This right here is some of the best beer I've ever sat and drank, and I've enjoyed every drop of this. I'm kind of drunk when I eat this pork belly sandwich from.
I'm up there with them.
Yeah.
But of course, like he said, follow Porter Grocery on Instagram. Yeah. See what they're up to. Get a grab and go meal. Support my guy Jim. He's killing the game. Cannabis, grocery, and just really creating the avenue for really good, clean food and good, clean activities around cannabis and the grocery world. And you already know, you can follow me at The Bearded Brother. Check out my website, buy some merch. Hit me up if you have any kind of interesting business ideas or want to talk beer. You know I can do that 24/7. So, as always, grab your friends, grab good-ass beer, drink up.